Hi guys, Christy124 back with another video, and today I wanted to go and talk about Battlefield Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. Now, these are going to be my concerns for it and everything because for some reason, I don't want to say everyone, no. I just want to say to some people that if you don't criticize a game, it's not going to be good in the future. It won't. I mean, I know people want this game to be great and everything, and I know they're afraid to criticize it because they won't get a future game. Okay? Yes, that may be true. But at the end of the day, do you really want Rehydrated to be a glitchy slash mess or a downgraded mess compared to the original? Or do you want it to be just as good or even better than the original? That's the thing here. And I know people are saying a remake can never be as good as the original. That may be true, but it can at least come close to it. And that's what I'm trying to say here. There may be some things that will never be as good as the original. That is a fact. But when you think about it, is Rehydrated, in previous remakes that done, original things, everything, they turned out to be very, very closely to the point where it was almost just as good as the original. And I'm talking about Spyro. Definitely Spyro. I'm not sure about Crash. I think a lot of people had problems with when it comes to some of Crash's things, but it was closely put to the original as well. And that's what I'm hoping that Rehydrated will do with SpongeBob Battlefield Bikini Bottom. To me, the best SpongeBob game that ever came out, and I can still play this game to this day and still enjoy it just as much as I did when I was a kid. It's just such a great game, and it's really sad because I really want Rehydrated to be just as good or come close to being just as good as the original, or maybe even better if possible because of Robot Squidward and everything. Now, one thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way was, number one, I never really liked SpongeBob's multiplayer in their games for some reason, like especially Plankton's Robotic Revenge, or it wasn't really multiplayer, but it was similar to it. At least I don't know if it was or not, but I don't really like SpongeBob's multiplayer. That's number one. And number two is I would have liked it to be in the main story. If this is a remake, if this is what they say, a remake, not a remaster, like I think I'm calling it a remaster, but they say remake. If this is a remake, then why are you not putting Robot Squidward in the story? Like, they don't have to put it in the story. I'm not saying that. Just put it as, unlockable. When you beat the whole entire game, unlock Robot Squidward, go ahead, have a few little DLC cutscenes, or not DLC, but just little secret cutscenes, and then go and fight Robot Squidward. They could have done that easily, like the Kingdom Hearts franchise. You know how the Kingdom Hearts franchise, you complete the story, then you'll have the secret bosses and everything? They could have done something like that, but they didn't. It's like, guys, you're not going to ruin the whole entire game if you add a boss or two. I mean, come on. It's not going to ruin it. Like, literally, I know everyone would have loved that. I mean, I don't know what the hell Purple Lamp Studios is doing. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad they're being very respectful to it. But let me tell you this. And this is one thing that I have to point out. And let me tell you the things that they're being respectful to the game. The story. Some of the combat and some of the moves. Mostly the combat, some of the moves and stuff. But not all the combat. Not how the combat feels and everything. Okay? What I've been told from people that play the demo and stuff, the combat feels too floaty. And I don't really have a problem with floaty games. I never really felt them being too floaty. That's just me, though. But some people can feel it and have problems with it. So I can understand that. So when I do play the original, the remake, I'm probably not going to notice it. But other people might notice it. But anyway, there's another thing that I noticed. Is that they did change, when you go and, for example, fight King's Jellyfish, they did add new movesets to him, which is very interesting. I had high hopes for that because I'm like, wow, they're making the game harder. I can't wait. I can't wait to finally be able to get even more challenge than I wish I did in the original. Because the only two bosses where I actually really had challenge, like now and even back when I was a kid, like I'm not talking about the robots like in, the different chapters and everything, like in downtown Bikini Bottom. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about where you fall into buildings and they hit you. That's a pain in the ass. But I think they're even downgrading that now. Sandy's a freaking kick-ass badass now. I mean, don't get me wrong. She was in the original. But she's even more stronger than she is in the original. And that's like, what the fuck? If you're trying to respect this, then why are you making her even more stronger? I'm not kidding. Like, I don't mind you adding new movesets to the bosses. That's fine, because I think that needs to be fixed. I mean, like, no offense. Like, I think the only two bosses that were very difficult was Patrick and Spongebob especially. Those are the two hardest bosses. Other than that, the game is like a walk in a park, unless, like, it's not a walk in a park, but you could get hit by enemies and stuff, but the game was just not as, it wasn't hard at all. Like, the only time where it was really, like, hard was, like, if you're in the air and stuff and the robots hit you, or Spongebob and Patrick bosses. At least when I was a kid. And even, I don't die from Patrick anymore, but I do die some with Spongebob. Still, I'm better now, so. But anyway, new boss moves could help. Like, to me, if you're going to add stuff to a remake or / remaster, then add something that would fix the original. Don't add new things that will make the original worse. For example, making the game too easy. Number 2 is, this is what really bothered me. I know it's a nitpick, but this is really bothered me. You know how when you have to go and sponge up to the top, those sponges like that they show you on those rocks are gone. They're not there. They just show arrows going up. Now tell me, I know this is not a big deal, but I do think that some people, like kids especially, are going to think that Sandy or Patrick can do that. For some reason. I mean, like, because to me, the reason why they showed that in the original was to let you know that SpongeBob was the only one that could do that. But now they just show arrows going up. And it could mean, like, Patrick or Sandy could have done that. And that's one thing that kind of pissed me off a little. It's like, they put that there for our region, Purple Lamp Studios. That's the thing. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And that's the thing that I don't like about it, They're like, oh, people were wondering how to get up there. I'm like, they're idiots. Those people don't know how to play games. Because the reason why, it shows you how to do that. All you do is jump up and jump. It's easy. You don't even need to go in the description and look up how to do it. You don't. It's common sense. But now, when you go in the remake, it's not going to tell you that. So people are going to think that Sandy or Patrick can do it. Newcomers are going to think that. So that's another big problem I have with it. And the biggest problem that I have with the whole entire game, the character models. That is what's making me think about not getting it. Don't get me wrong, I'm most likely going to get it. But what made me think about not being so excited was the character models. I don't like the character models. I mean, to me, I don't like the new seasons, and I don't like the character models in new seasons. It's like the creators of SpongeBob completely forgot how to draw them. Like, the only 2 characters that look like, 3 characters that look like shit. SpongeBob, Patrick, Mermaid Man. Yeah, Mermaid Man as well. Which pisses me off, because Mermaid Man looks like a freaking toy action figure. Go and watch some of the teaser trailers with him in it. He looks like an action figure, and I'm not the only one that noticed that. And SpongeBob and Patrick don't even look like SpongeBob and Patrick anymore. They look like they're freaking babies now. I mean, like, SpongeBob looks like he's freaking 10 or 15, or not even 15. Like, in the original, he looked like he was around 15 to 18. Now he looks like he's freaking 10. And same goes for Patrick. He looks like he's 10. Just look at him. He looks too young and cutesy. I don't like that in the new seasons, and I don't like that in the remake. I mean, that's what was so good about the original seasons, and what was so good about the original. Look at this. This is SpongeBob. The rehydrated, that is not SpongeBob, okay? He may sounds and acts like SpongeBob, like the original, exactly like the original, but deep down, looking at him, that's not SpongeBob at all. And that's one thing that pissed me off is Patrick does look a little bit better, but even then, it's like that's not my Patrick. I like Patrick because he kind of looked like a little bit of a gorilla, and he was a starfish too, but he looked like a gorilla as well. He was big and beast, even though he was dumb as a rock. That's exactly what in the series it told. But the thing about it is, I'm going to most likely enjoy this game because it's Battle for Bikini Bottom, but it seems like we're going to be playing a more downgraded version of it. And guys, I know some of you don't want to criticize it because you're afraid that you might not get a sequel to Battle for Bikini Bottom. But listen, if you criticize this game and show, you don't have to say this game is bad. I'm not saying that. Just tell them the problems with it. That's all you have to say. And then they'll most likely fix it if they do care about this game. Because I tell you what, if they fix this game, then you'll have a more likelihood of a sequel. But if you just ignore it and say, oh, this game is perfect, I don't want to say it's shit, then it's going to end up like shit because people are not going to buy this. Because there's so many problems with it, and it doesn't feel like Battle for Bikini Bottom. Nobody's going to buy it because there's so many stuff that's wrong in it. If you don't criticize it and show what's wrong with it, then it's going to keep going and going to the point where people just won't buy it or play it anymore. Because they love the original. And I know the original will always be better. But let Rehydrated come close at least. Let Rehydrated be like 95% good. Just like the, freaking original. And to be honest, they could make it better than the original if they really, really care and listen to the fans. And it seems like they're doing that. But what I'm seeing right now, the teasers and everything, it's one thing with the character models, but the teasers, they just seem messy and glitchy. Like there still needs months of work in progress. I'm not kidding. And I don't like saying that because I really want to Rehydrate to be just as good or even better as the original. But it seems like, of course, we're not getting that. Not getting that like Spyro, and we're not getting that even close to Crash. And it sucks. But guys, please don't try to say that, I'm not trying to look at the good and stuff about it. That is not true. Because let me tell you what. The graphics, beautiful. The being faithful to the story and making sure that all the voice acting is like it was in the original. Awesome. Like the battles and everything. It's good. It feels like it was in the original. Except new movesets. But the thing about it is, there's a few bosses that don't feel like that. Flying Dutchman. A little bit of Flying Dutchman. And then Patrick. Robot Patrick. He feels too jumpy, which doesn't bother me, but a lot of people it does. And they show you where he attacks the thing. I'm hoping we can turn it off. Like the goo, like it shows you where he's gonna, throw the goo at you. And I don't like that. I really want them to let us turn it off when we want to. Another thing that bothers me is I do think there should be difficulty modes here, especially if you're going to put this game on PC. Come on. You're putting this game on PC, then put difficulties on here where people can go and have a challenge, for God's sake. Literally. Oh, we don't want to do that because we'll be respectful to the original. Dude, or guys, you still going to be respectful to the original. As long as the story is just like the original, as long as most of the stuff isn't changed and everything, like the voice acting stuff, then, the combat is good and everything, then I think you're fine. But it doesn't mean you can't add some new stuff and make it creative, as long as the story's respectful and everything. And to me, the character models look the same but upgraded, in my opinion, then you're doing fine. But if you, it's okay to change some things to make them better. But if you make them worse, then you're just making things worse. Like, having Squidward as a secret boss in the story mode, it's not going to make it bad. Or having maybe even costumes or different costumes won't make it bad. You're just, you're you're doing something different with it, but you're being very respectful to the original as well. I mean, you don't have to make it exactly the same. That's boring. I mean, no offense. I wanted to be like the same as the original when it comes to story mode and stuff, but they don't have to make it like just that. They can do creative stuff with it. They don't have to change. Don't change the story mode at all. But you can change. You can do some. You don't have to change anything, to be honest. Just do some different tweaks with it and be creative, like extra costumes, difficulties. Secret boss Squidward in the freaking story mode, but he won't be in the story mode, but he'll be like unlockable in the story mode. So, but anyway, that is my gripes and complaints about that. I am concerned about it. I really hope this game will be good, at least come close to being as good as the original. But what I'm seeing, I'm not sure. I probably will most likely get this game because it is Battle for Bikini Bottom. But at the end of the day, I'm not as excited as I was going to be. Guys, please, don't let nostalgia get to you. Just look at the game. You can appreciate what the game is. Don't get me wrong. The game looks great and beautiful and respectful. But guys, don't ignore the problems with it. That's the problem with the gaming community right now. They ignore it. They act like, oh, if we don't say shit, then they'll make a sequel or something like that, or they're afraid to criticize it because they think they're not going to get another game from them. That's a bunch of BS. You don't criticize them, then they're going to keep making mistakes until the end of the fucking moon, and it will keep getting worse and worse and worse. Do you want that, guys? Do you want this to be a glitchy / mess? Or do you want it to be better or almost as good or just as good as the original? Okay? That's what pisses me off about the gaming community. But anyway, guys, I gotta leave. This camera's about to turn off. But I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, comment. Please comment. And I'll check you guys in the next video when I make one. Bye.